All right, we've got only 4 games left. Georgia, Vanderbilt. Georgia 31-32 point road favorites, 31.5 to 32 in that range, 57 being the total here in this game. Look, Georgia finally, and this is what I was worried about all along. And I did take a piece of Kentucky last week, and obviously it was a dead wrong side. You could tell right away when Georgia's going up and down the field against Kentucky that it's probably going to get away from Kentucky. It did, 51-13. It was finally the complete dominant effort we've been waiting for from Carson Beck and the offense and from this Georgia team, including their defense. There's just finally they played a complete football game. And that would concern me if I'm Vanderbilt, who are still, believe it or not, after 7 games, a team that has yet to cover a number, 0-7 now against the spread for Vanderbilt this year, and only 2-5 straight up. Last year it was 55-0 Georgia. 2 years ago it was 62-0 for Georgia. That's 117-0 El Skunko for the Vanderbilt the last 2 years against this Georgia team. There's no way I'm taking Brett Andy. And a winless ATS team this year, 31.5 might actually be cheap. Now, what does Georgia have after this game on deck? Let me just take a quick gander here at the schedule. They've got at Florida, they have the cocktail party, but that's actually October 28th. So they have a bye week after this game. Then they have the cocktail party in Jacksonville against Florida, that annual game. So there really isn't a look ahead. And Georgia's finally coming off a game where everything clicked. The offense finally looked explosive. They were able to run the ball better. The defense finally was even more dominant. Not that the defense was bad earlier this season, but that was a dominant defensive game. That's a Georgia defensive type of game. Dominance, which we hadn't always seen this year. Yeah, it's Georgia or pass. Don't know if I'll bet it, but I don't want Vandy. I can tell you that. 117-0 the last 2 years combined for Georgia head-to-head against Vanderbilt. Are they even going to score a point here? I guess you got to ask yourself that, Conor. Vanderbilt.
I don't know. And if they do, I think it's maybe a touchdown, late. I don't know. I think Georgia rolls in this one. I mean, are they a little bit sleepy? We've seen. But Vandy's just shown nothing at all. They're a team I can't even take these points. And they've had like spurts of a quarter, then they just get ripped. The defense gives up like 3 touchdowns, like back to back to back. So that could be this, as they haven't scored a point in a couple of years. So maybe they get a couple points, but Georgia or nothing.
Yeah. I mean, how do you have the guts to take a team, even getting 31.5, 32 points when they've been outscored 117 to jack shit here the last 2 seasons head to head? I mean, that's an unbelievable degree of dominance for Georgia the last 2 seasons against Vanderbilt.